sometimes you need that.
Yeah,
what happened?
yeah.
What happened with? Because bro, I help friend of the show.
You know why I say that? Let me just say this. You know why I say that, Road Dogg? Because you and me, I just thought about this. First of all, I didn't know you were this homeboy. You're from Marietta, Georgia, too.
Oh yeah.
So you guys,
Me and Disco. I can't believe I was on the list because me and Disco came up.
Oh, we've North Georgia Championship.
He didn't give a bro. He didn't give a putting you on there. By the way,
listen. We worked in an organization called North Georgia Championship Wrestling. Okay, that was like your typical redneck, Georgia rural wrestling show that was on channel. For channel 36 on TV, right?
It was on after like Wayne's World or something.
So to the point this is the type of place. I got a funny story. You used to cut good promos on there. That show because when you worked there, but this is the type of place where we were in Rome, Georgia one time, and they're having a coal miner's glove match. Okay, and they said, "Oh, hey, we need a coal miner's glove." Right? And I go, bro, we're like 1,500 miles from a coal mine. It's like we're gonna say. I
Amazon back then.
I went to the store with one of the referees. We came back and we had an oven mitt. Okay. So that's where we broke in, right? North Georgia Championship Wrestling. But
let me say what I wanted to tell you. So the reason I say that you have a lot of respect for Vince is we come from a military background.
Yeah.
And we understand good leadership. And that's why you don't take no shit.
Yeah.
Because in the military ain't like wrestling. They don't go and beat the bush and go around in circles and play the political Tennessee handshake game. They tell you, hey, son, you do this now or this will happen. Because they're trying to make men, not fucking pussies.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
And so you can respect somebody like Vince, right?
Yeah. Oh, I almost did. That's why I quit.
Well, it was funny too because when you first, I told Vince when they made you a back at TNA when you first became an agent.
Yeah,
I was like your first day doing it. I was like, bro, this guy's great at this. Like it was like right off the bat, you were very comfortable, like doing agent work.
Yeah. I am very comfortable doing it. Even more comfortable now that I have 10 years of WWE television. Look, there were times that Vince and Kevin Dunn were not there, and me and Michael Hayes, I would run the show. Michael would kind of, run everybody around, and Mike Mansouri would run the show. He would run the truck. I'd run. So I produced live television for 4 years.
And that's a whole different ballgame.
How long have you done in NXT?
That's a whole different ballgame because as a wrestler, I'm just talking wrestler, you have no idea what wrestling's really about until you get into production. Until you sit in a fucking booking meeting. Very few people have been able to do that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And they don't know. But they watched it. They saw last night. So what the flip do I know?
Right.
But look, that's what. And then at NXT, I kind of did the same thing. At the end, about the last year, we developed what I called on my own called Team Dogg, and it was me and Ryan Katz, my co-host on the podcast, and two other writers. And we just why are you laughing?
Because we would have a thing whenever we hear a name we've never heard of, the big tagline of the show is we always go, who? It's like Ryan Katz is like a who,
Right. And sorry, Ryan Katz. I worked with him there, and so I asked him to be my co-host on my podcast. But we were doing character development, and so we were all the new guys that were coming in, new girls that were coming in. We'd sit and spend time with them, find out their likes and dislikes, music, gear, get everything set up for them to debut. You know what I mean? And so we were some of those guys that we did were Santos Escobar. Tony D'Angelo.
Why do you think they still have him at 36, 37 years old? He's ready for the prime time in NXT.
I have no idea, but honestly, I don't think that'll be that way long because that kid is, and I don't know what any of y'all's relationship is with him.
Wait, stop. You don't know what anybody's relationship is. Go ask Santos Escobar who I am. I brought him into AAA.
Okay.
I showed him how to do promos, got him in shape. Like, he was my guy for like 4 years.
Wow. Well, that's where he got it from then.
Yeah.
But he would literally tell me on TV days, walking through something, hey, do you mind if I go this way and we bring that camera around here? Like, he had a vision. And that's what I loved about him, because a lot of guys come to do a rehearsal, even the writers and the talent come to a rehearsal with no vision of how this should be executed. You know what I mean? And so I would tell them at the end of every production meeting, hey guys, please don't come out there, with your Dizzick in your hand when it's time to rehearse. Have a vision. We may change it, but please have something in your mind.
He's a problem because he's smart.
Yes.
He's hungry and he's money.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Let me ask you this.
What a dude.
Let me ask you this. Because this is bizarre to me. It's like you did, bro. And NXT, we used to watch it every week, because Cross went on the show, and like I helped train Kevin.
That's our boy.
Stuff.
Yeah,
that's our boy, right?
Cool. Yeah.
So it's like you guys took Cross, and you talk about like sometimes and I always tell people like he's an excellent content creator, because if you stick him in a minute vignette. Yeah. He's going to nail the minute vignette. If you give him a minute and a half interview, he's going to nail. It's like, you give him little pieces, he nails the little pieces, which means, okay, we're just going to keep going with this, right? Yeah. Bro, we thought this is like a perfect guy. You have this character, you developed it, handed to Vince, and it's like, he should be like near the, like what Hunter is doing with him now. And like that they took him into this, put a helm, like Vince, I'm like, but here's my question. Was Vince really kind of like that clueless on a lot of guys, or was this a deal where him and Hunter maybe were butting heads, and Vince was going to make a point that these are Hunter's guys? Well, I'm just gonna put the kibosh to him and not give these guys a chance, because he has an issue with Hunter.
So look, I don't know that for a fact, because I'm not inside his head. In my side of mine is a scary enough place, but I do think he had that in him.
Right.
He would do that. He did that. I do think he would have that in him. Look, it happened over and over again. So I don't think it was like where somebody went up.
Yeah, but you never know, bro. You never know, Road Dogg. I mean, put yourself in Vince's place too, even though it was stupid and I would have done it another way. You want to see how a guy's going to react. Yeah. Right? That guy that you're going to put a rocket on, a guy that's why a lot of people always said, well, why didn't they push CM Punk more? Because, bro, if you're going to pick between Cena and Punk, who's more of a company guy? Cena. Yeah. So you go with him, so he probably wanted, you know what I'm saying? You just never know what.
I could totally see that too. I mean, look at everybody who was a huge star anywhere else came in for Rook. Konnan, even, you know what I mean? Like people who came from another place, he would try to do different stuff with them. And I think a lot of it is so he could say he owned it. And a lot of it was very true, man. He did that to Hunter. You know what I mean? After the curtain call, he punished him for a while,
Yeah. But that's the thing, too, is like it's the mindset of a guy that's a billionaire and in charge. So it's difficult to get into, like, you don't know if I was a billionaire and in charge, I don't know how I would operate. Would I be more authoritarian? I
would surround myself with positive and competent people, and then I would let them do their work.
Right.
That's why I don't understand, like with Tony Khan with all these shows. I asked him once, I go, yo, Tony, all these fucking shows, how are you doing them all at the same time? Because I love this. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I love it too, but I know that I can't handle 4 shows.
Yeah,
I
love it.
Let me tell you what I would do. I would get one show and give it to you. I'd give one show and give it to maybe Gabe Spokowski. I'd give one show, maybe give it to Russo. Yeah. And if you guys give me good ratings, you stay. If you don't, I'll put somebody else. Yeah. But bro, one show's fucking hard enough.
Yeah. It is. And by yourself, look, and I don't know who he's surrounded by. I don't know who he, from a creative standpoint, that is. I understand from what I hear too, he does a lot of it on his own. And man, if you don't have anything to not even a sounding board, not even a person that's just a good listener to bounce that stuff off of.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm sure he does have sounding boards, but at the end of the day, they should be running these other shows. Let them tell them more or less, or be the editor,
Yeah.
Delegate authority, dude.
Yeah,
delegate
that's what authority. You do.
That's why Paul Lee, who is a creative genius, he had that problem. Antonio Pena, who's like my mentor, he had that problem. They were like, And sometimes I have that problem, and maybe it's happened to you, Road Dogg, where you're like, fuck, if I don't do it myself, it ain't going to come out how I want it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And so you're fucking like stressed out because you got to find the right person.
But even when because look, I think writing the show and executing the show are two different animals. I would always sit with a team of writers to come up with the show. Having said that, I would execute it in my head as we're coming up with it. And then I would have that, when he comes over the barricade, I want her to go here. And you know what I mean? And I would have it in my head how it would be fit best on TV.
How many times you're sitting there with the writing team and they come up with something, you say Vince is gonna think that sucks. You just immediately it's like he's not gonna like that.
Yeah, and look, I've done the same thing where they said the same thing. You know what I mean? Right. It's just like, oh God. And so what we would do was we would write it to the best of our ability while poking all the creative holes we could with, Vince is going to say this. Well, then we'll say this. Well, and it's like developing an argument, right? For
so what a weird way to book too. You have to like when you're booking for the one guy, it's like, is he going to like it?
all these options.
Road Dogg.
Because look, if he said no, I don't like that, and what else you got, and you didn't have nothing, there was heat. He said, I tell you what, guys, we're done here for today. Maybe we'll talk tomorrow, and get up and leave. And you go,
he's been he's pissed.
Yes.
So now tomorrow better be really good. we're fired, maybe, right?
Oh my God, yes.
It's like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You go ahead, Konnan.
Go ahead, Kay.
I just remembered something that may bring a smile to your face. Some of the best times that I ever had in my career was in 3LK.
Oh, agreed. Me too, man.
Bro, I have to bring this up. So I want to say we were in Nashville or Charlotte. I think it was Nashville.
It was Nashville.
Okay. And we went to the hood. And when I say the hood, it's the hood.
Yeah.
And it was funny because this kid rode up on a bike. We
weren't going to buy anything or anything.
You were filming like 3LK. We're like hood guys.
Yeah, with Road Dogg here. Yeah, let me let's clarify that.
Yeah.
So we were in the motherfucking hood, and we were going to tape a vignette. And some kid rode up in a bike, and he had like a Glock in his fucking waistband, bro. And he was, what the fuck are you doing in my hood, you know?
Yeah.
And we were like, we're going to shoot a thing. Who the fuck are you? And he was like, I'm Road Dogg, and I'm Konnan. They popped. The guy popped because they all watch wrestling, thank God.
Yeah.
This motherfucker got into, do you remember the Starsky and Hutch or no?
Yeah.
No, Glenn, do you remember Starsky and Hutch?
Yeah.
Well, of course you're going to remember Starsky and Hutch. Do you remember Starsky and Hutch, Glenn?
Yeah, of course.
Do you remember a guy called Huggy Bear?
Huggy Bear, yes, of course.
Okay, bro. This guy came out, Bootsy Collins, Huggy Bear out, fucking tie-dye, all these colors, a big fucking hat, big glasses, platform shoes with glitter and looked like a stripper. And bro, he was just walking and talking that shit, and they were cheering him. It was fucking awesome.
It was awesome. Remember Eddie G when we shot the one at the trailer park? It was like we'd see Ronnie coming out of the trailer, and then you just see Eddie G with his shirt off step around the corner and start rubbing his nipples.
Yeah, remember that?
I remember the Eddie G. We got him on TV. Right?
We got him on TV.
You know this guy, Eddie G?
Of course, because we always the big rib was we always used to have the guy go sing. Jeff would fire him up to go sing karaoke after the show, and he was terrible at karaoke. But he would always like say, "Hey, Eddie, you gonna sing for us tonight?" It's like, "Yeah, sure, Jeff, I'm gonna sing." And he was awful.
He was Road Dogg's kind of like lackey / whipping boy / chauffeur / gopher / we used to bury him all the time, much like I buried Joe on the show, because shit goes downhill. And I've told Joe, find somebody lower than you on the totem pole.
Yeah,
then we can all shit up. Right.
It's like, so the guy at the bottom gets all the shit, right?
Right. So and remember, Eddie G got so mad at me once that he goes, "I'm not inviting you to my wedding." I go, "Fuck you and your wedding." But I remember that you fucking used to drive. Bro, he used to have, because I'm a huge Elvis fan, and he had this thing, Elvis volumes 1 through 90.
Yeah.
All that. So he would listen to Elvis all the way his trip. By the way, did you see the movie Elvis?
I haven't seen it yet, no.
Oh, my God, it's great.
I've heard nothing but positive reviews, so I'm excited to see it.
You will mega pop, but that's one of my favorite times, bro. When you came out as Huggy Bear.
To this day, I go, mic check, give me the mic, 1, 2, 3. You got the truth, K-Dog and BG, and we do the damn thing because we can, because he is the suntan Superman. I go back and listen to those songs we did all the time, because we went to Sawyer Brown's studio in Nashville and recorded there. 3 Live Crew did. Honestly, some of my favorite times in my career also, man. It was really good.
Let me ask you a question, Brian. Do you still watch wrestling today, right?
Yeah, not.
What do you? Let me hear some stuff. What are you a fan of? Stuff, guys, that you're a fan of, and guys you're not. Then things that you're kind of not a fan of.
Yeah,
like just a kind of basic overview of what wrestling.
I think AEW has to get color every week and use some kind. Like I don't know. I hate to just bury them all the time, but that's not. But look, I don't like some. We don't
call like bury. We look at the shows, and if they underperform in the ratings, our criticism is like maybe this is a reason you're underperforming the ratings. It's not like I hate that. Like the Mark podcast is just always burying WWE all the time. Oh, he sucked. This guy. But we look at it from like an analytic standpoint because we've been in the writing room. So we
I don't know, man. And some of it's personal to me. Like I love Billy's Kids. I think the one's so entertaining. I think they are a good new tag team.
Yeah, the one that raps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he raps that well, but I think he is entertaining. He does. And their work is, I think they get it. And I think in time they will, excuse me, I'm going to throw up in my mouth. In time they will improve and kind of, but I think they're leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of tag teams their age.
Yeah. They definitely
I love Roman Reigns and the bloodline thing. I think that's
the best.
Cool
that's the best thing on TV, bro.
Yeah, I think it's cool. If it was me, I would have probably already brought up Solo Sikoa to join
He's money, bro.
He is money. And
bro, have you seen their other cousin Fatu? In
Jacob?
MLW,
yeah. I worked with him on the Flair show.
He's great.
The first time I ever met him, and actually today is his twin son's birthday. He did have a great attitude. He was very professional, and it made me wonder why he's not signed somewhere.
And you know what's funny, Road Dogg?
And about that.
And you know what's funny? You never see bad Samoan workers, right?
Never. Right. So it
is like genetics.
Yeah,
like
it is.
It's weird.
It's not even friggin' fair, really, because you could just totally cast a whole roster with Samoans and not need anybody else. Yeah,
you could.
But I just worked with Ming. I think it's Ming.
Ming's kid, the tall kid, right?
Yeah, the real tall kid. I saw him work at Impact over the weekend, and I thought, holy mackerel, he's good too, and he's 6'2".
Hakalulu or whatever.
Hakalulu.
What? Have you met him?
I met him briefly and shook his hand.
Sweetheart of a guy, bro.
Yeah, seemed that way.
Like Haku, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. When you watch the war, I think there's two glaring. I think a lot of the difference is the style of work between AEW and WWE. Though obviously AEW is getting profuse color.
Yeah,
like on a weekly, and it's like just
bookends. To the point, like
we
call it bookends because it's at the first match,
beginning of the show, and the end of the show. It's like you're just putting blood out there for the first.
It's gratuitous. You know what I mean? It is gratuitous, and it's not. Look, it may be cool to a 25-year-old in a black T-shirt. I don't know that because I'm 53 in a purple T-shirt or whatever. So I just don't. You know what I mean? I don't know what they're thinking, but it's gross to me, and I don't think everybody wants to see that. You know what I mean?
There's 3 things too that I see predominantly in a lot of AEW matches that I think hurts their numbers. Okay, when it's the work. Every match, everybody does this thing where you stand in front of the guy and form each other back and forth in the face. And it's like every match. It's not like one that's called the Japanese fighting spirit spot. Okay, we're not in Japan and we're not Japanese, so it's like why are we doing the Japanese fighting spirit spot? You know, so like every single match. Number 2, bro,
because all these guys are marks for Japanese wrestling.
Right. Number 2, nobody is hiding the thigh slapping. Like they're just openly just slap. Everybody's just like overhand slapping their thighs, and bro, that looks very fake. And it's like, bro, there's a lot of it during the show. Yeah. You know, and number 3, it's like a lot of these guys are indie guys on that show, and like, bro, they're not hiding the dives. Everybody's standing there. The camera shots catching the shot of the guy standing there waiting for the guy to run and dive.
One more Road Dogg, and they do illogical dives. Like they'll have one girl, she weighs like 130 pounds, like dive on 8 guys that are over 200, and they fall like bowling pins. Like, the only thing that's been is the strike sound.
Right. Right. But I see the WWE, they don't go, their work is more structured. This is why when you see guys like FTR working in AEW, it's like not an AEW style match. It's like it's a WWE style match with this, when you see Punk work, he's kind of a WWE style worker. He's not doing the.
You can tell. Right. You
can tell the guys are different, but it's like I think that like the problem is bro, like Meltzer is putting over that style of work.
Yeah.
Like it's the best work that we've ever seen. I'm like, I think it's kind of like to a detriment to the business that a lot of guys are thinking it's okay to just openly slap your thigh all the time and stand there and forearm the guy back and forth and nobody sells it and stuff. And over a course of like weekly television, when you see a lot of this, bro, a lot of people just turn it off. Yeah. They're like, this match is not good. It's like, I think there's a lot of evidence to point to that. What do you think?
Well, because look, I there's a reason that the ratings are higher during the crossover segments, because 9 times out of 10, the crossover segments are like promos. You know what I mean? When you turn and see a guy shooting off another guy and hip tossing him, it's wrestling on. And if you turn it, you see a guy standing there talking. I see it's wrestling. He's in the ring, but let's hear what he's saying. If he's a good looking guy, if he's one of your big stars or a good looking girl, one of the big female stars, you'll stop and sit with that for a second. Right. So I think talking segments have always drawn more ratings. I totally forgot what we were talking about. I'm sorry.
No, you just talk about the work. Like when you're
slapping the legs and all. Look, I'm guilty because I slapped my leg when I threw my big punch. It was the jab, 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 wiggle, wiggle, big punch, and I would slap my leg. But I did it like Scott Hall did, and so
you hide it.
You didn't notice a whole lot. You know what I mean? And I only
not just that, Road Dogg. Not that many people did it. The problem is the lack of originality in wrestling. So what happens is when people see that the thigh slap gets a pop, now they want to do it. But now you're doing it 3 times every match, so you've seen it 15 fucking times. Right. When 2 guys are doing it spread out over a show, you really couldn't tell. It was like the Canadian Destroyer. When Petey Williams first did it, because we were in Impact at the same time, you were like, what the fuck is that? That's a finishing move and a half. Yeah. Now it's a transition spot. People get back up from it. So, everybody was doing Canadian Destroyers. So everybody copies the same moves. Everybody looks like they're doing the same shit. Yeah. That's one of the biggest problems.
There's no individuality in the work either. Right. You know what I mean? Not only in the character development, but in the
work
too.
Right.
And when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn got their jobs there, and it kind of started on WWE, you started kind of seeing maybe a super kick, recoil, bang, bang, boom, whatever. And it was kind of like, that's not right. What are we doing? What are you doing that for? I had many conversations with a lot of Chris Scoville, who writes now for Impact, was there at the time, and a lot of conversations with guys like him, Robert Evans, that would say, no, that's how the business is going now. So I tried to be open-minded and say, look, it's different now. People but some of the stuff you're talking about is just egregious. You know what I mean? Like the leg slaps, like the dives. And that's what I was talking about earlier with the production value. I know they know, because you've said it. I've said it. A lot of people have said it. I know they know. Just frame out the guys standing there waiting to catch them. You know what I mean? Frame it out.
Right.
Bro, you guys do that
WWE does that so good where a guy will come flying into the shot off camera, and it's because you're producing for the television viewer.
Into frame, and it's just the guy shoots into frame for a hard save. It's more compelling for the viewer. Right. You know what I mean? And so we construct it that way and go through some elements to make sure we got it down. And nobody else is doing that. And it's just like...
And not just that, the facials before it and after it.
Oh, yeah, man. And look, and that's exactly because you'll hear every producer from that roster. Faces after a kick out, after something big. That's how we visually tell the story. We can get in a room and write a bunch of words if you want us to. We can visually tell that story better, to me, the viewer anyway, if they tell it through physical violence. You know what I mean?
Right. Plus, too, this is the thing that I see if you notice this, too, is like, everybody says when the guys came from the Ring of Honor structure, stuff into the WWE. Well, basically when the guys coming from the Indies, and made it to the main stage, right? And they brought a lot of the indie bad habits with them, right? And it's like, everybody talks like, I think this is what happened over the course of years, okay? Is that when these guys started doing like these, the super kickers or transition where the guy no-sells it or just, they're no-selling so much stuff.
Yeah.
And so many kickouts of big moves that like it all just comes into under one premise of a basic psychology, and the psychology is okay. Nothing really hurts.
Yeah.
So we could do a million of these, but what that did was, and I think it eroded the suspension of disbelief that a wrestling fan wants to go to the show and experience. You don't want to be shown this is not real. You want to kind of kept as real as looking as possible. And I think when they keep doing all these, no selling, just kicking out of everything and stuff. It just creates this thing. It's like,
and look, dude, and none of it. And I only stay down for 3 when we know the match is over, no matter what it was. It could be a small package after we did 50 things.
Right, exactly.
Look, here's my issue is, okay, so fans are preconditioned and that's what they want to see. Okay, well, that's what they want to see. I go back to a time when, and I don't know, it wasn't so bad back then, but I remember Taker when we inducted my dad into the Hall of Fame in Atlanta in 2011, and Taker and Hunter worked, and man, it was in that Hell in a Cell, and they told the story about he had the sledgehammer and he got him in Hell's Gate and he was crawling with his fingers to get you know what I mean? And it's all watching it on a television show. It was one of the most dramatic matches I've ever seen. And it was just, they didn't do any of that stupid crap. You know what I mean? So if you went back to how we used to construct matches and we used to think about the way we executed them, it would get over like Rover. It's not speed up, slow down and tell me the story better. And I would imagine it would be really popular right now. Fans of today don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Because they haven't seen that.
What happened is I was faced with that dilemma as the booker of AAA wrote Dogg. So me being an old school guy, in a modern world, you just have to adapt. And so what I do is I'll give him what I call the video game match.
Oh yeah.
Like the match you saw at StarCast, because I heard you were backstage.
Do you like Gabe Sapolsky?
I don't really know him that well.
He uses that exact same terminology, the video game match, and then we changed it to NXT style, and it was like, hey, we're going to give them one that's fast paced, and then we're going to tell our stories with the other.
Right, because at the end of the day, there's people that like that.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah. I do like it. So. So you give them that match. Then I like to give them a match where you got to sell. There's a little storyline. Yeah. You connect with the audience. So I give everybody something. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what I do. Because, bro, at the end of the day, it's just evolution. We're the same age, basically. You grew up in an era where you could fuck up a quarterback. You could straight up fuck up a quarterback.
Yes.
And I used to watch. I wanted our defense to destroy the other quarterback. Bro, you can't even fucking look a quarterback's way today.
The video game commercials were like cartoons of guys destroying people.
Yeah.
Like trying to injure, mutilate your opponent. Right. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So
right?
even like in basketball, everything revolved around the center. Now the center's shooting 3-pointers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But everything evolves. And so you just got to evolve with it because I've said this before and it's appropriate. The young architects of wrestling, music, technology, the influencers are all young cats. They're setting the rules like we set the rules back in the 90s.
Amen.
You guys were doing your shit with DX, whatever. They were doing the NWO. We were setting the rules, and changing the landscape of the industry.
Yeah.
And like what you were, and if you remember from the video last night, everybody's going, "Oh, you've gone too far. You can't do this." And you guys were loving it.
Yeah.
Because the edgier you were, it's like, bro, do you remember when I was doing LAX?
Yeah.
Do you remember how edgy I was getting?
Yeah, hell yeah.
And they were like, well, you can't say this. And, the cops came and fuck all that,
Yeah, because it was over.
Right. When you hear that something's that edgy, you're like, well, I'm going to take it as far as I can.
Well, it's catching on. It's got everybody's attention.
Let me ask you a question. Me and Konnan used to hate this because we so much on the show, and they don't really do it that much anymore. Was Vince the one that would always pop for the distraction finish Like guys would be going there for 10-minute matches, and somebody would come on the stage, you're distracted. Schoolboy 1, 2, 3, and that was prominent for a while on the show. So what was the story behind that?
Look, I think it goes deeper than that into the 50-50 booking, and it was trying to justify. I think we came up with a bunch of little things like that to try to justify beating someone, and and that seems to be a big issue. Not so much now, but it was to just get a finish on somebody. Like,
are you a fan of 50-50 booking? Because
no,
I'm not
at all. No, I think you gotta book somebody strong. And look, I know that sucks if you ain't the guy getting booked strong, but you got to have somebody. And that's how I feel about AEW stars. Is like I know Punk and Moxley, but I don't see them every week. And I don't know.
And this is what I tell the people on my roster. Yeah, right now we're going with this guy. But tomorrow it may be you, and he's doing the job. So, bro, we can't push everybody at the same fucking time.
No, you cannot. And because somebody has to lose.
Right.
And that was me a lot.
Sometimes you got to lose big, bro. But you kept but this is what was special about you, because you were like Scott Hall. You kept your heat even when you lost. That's a special ability.
Well, that's what I thought. Go ahead.
I think you can get over and be over and still lose, and that's why I caught a ton of flack for saying wins and losses don't matter. But my point is, look, I'm a Kevin Owens fan, and I use him as an example. I like Kevin Owens. We love Kevin Owens. Yeah, he's gotten the crap beat out of it. Look, I like him as a person too, which makes me even more like him more. I think he's a great wrestler, great sports entertainer, whatever you want to call him. I think he's really good at it. He could get beat 1,000,000 times from Sunday, and next time he comes out, I'm still going to be interested in seeing what he's going to do because I'm a Kevin Owens fan. You know
Same
what I mean?
Just like his boy, Sami Zayn.
Exactly. I think Sami Zayn is great television. He's great promo. He's great character. Like I want to dive into Sami Zayn, you know?
We were talking about the same thing with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Everybody's going, well, we keep beating Seth Rollins. I go, yeah, but they're giving the guy his heat back. That's all a heel wants. We don't care to win. We just want to keep our heat.
Yeah. And that's what Hunter will do. Hunter will think more thoroughly about wins and losses when they matter, and heels beating people sometimes, you know what I mean? Because he likes to stop, Vince just loved a babyface territory. Hunter likes to stack up a heel, prop him up.
That's how you do it. You chase
TV with heat. Good heat is better TV.
Amen.
It always is. You can write tons of stories when you got good heat.
Every time we were at a production meeting and Hunter was in there and we'd go like, should we end the show with heat? He was always like, heat. Yeah. And it's good. You know what I mean? It is good to go off the air like
Bro, you know who was a master at that, and I did learn a lot from him, is Kevin Sullivan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I know Kevin really well, and I've talked to him 1,000,000 times, but I never worked for him. And I would have been interested to work for him and see what his philosophy
Well, imagine all the smart people and territories he was in, He's got a plethora of fucking knowledge.
Yeah.
So I would assume now that Hunter's back, that it would probably be easier for you to go back there, right? Or no?
So I don't know that. I would go back in a heartbeat. I feel like it was. I'd love to go back to NXT if I'm being honest with you, but I would go back.
But even though Vince isn't on the main roster, you wouldn't go to the main roster?
I don't know. There's something about, look, when I got out of when I was trying to re-enlist in the Marine Corps, I wanted to be a drill instructor because I wanted to make Marines. So what was really cool about that opportunity at NXT was it was an opportunity to kind of make superstars or exemplify the characteristics of these
cultivate them.
Yeah, to cultivate these talents and see them. Man, to talk up to Tony D'Angelo. I won't use Santos Escobar because he did have a ton of experience when he got there. But Tony D'Angelo is a young kid who'd never been nowhere and just worked. I worked with him at a fair for Dave Hero in Wisconsin somewhere where we got paid in cheese curds. But then he got there and we talked to him and he did a great hey, yo, who you talking to? You know what I mean? So we were like, okay, well, that's cool. But yeah, we cultivated that. And then we talked about what he's going to wear and how's he going to, you know what I mean? And it was just all such a cool piece to be able to be a part of that.
Plus, too, it's like, you get these guys from the indies, and really all these guys know how to do is work.
Yeah.
They're just work or generic. They don't work the crowd. They don't. And now you're trying to give them a character. Perfect example. Bro, this is a perfect example. And it's like, people always talk about guys, this guy's work and stuff, everything. Then they'll get an interview backstage. They got a minute and a half, and it stinks.
Yeah,
it's like they didn't grab you didn't grab the brass ring there. It's like as Vincent like you know what I'm saying. But it's funny because like I could like you like when you talk about you love going back there. Perfect example when you first went on TV and you're the roadie, right?
Yeah.
Did you just sit there in the apron and just do nothing? It's like no, you were like busy.
No,
you're like doing roadie. Yeah. It's like you're like
I wanted to be a cutaway machine. You know what I mean? I wanted them to have to shoot me during the match.
Exactly. And that's what I try to tell people. It's like, like when I train like at the school here and stuff, I'm saying like, it's not when you go on a show, it's like everybody that goes on shows, they want to have the best match. Yeah. And I'm like, guys, don't think that way because it's probably, you're not that good of a worker. If you think you are, you're probably not.
Yeah.
Go there to try to get the best pop. Do something to get a pop, to get a react, to get everything. A perfect example, bro. When you gave DX, they gave you the mic before the match. What'd you do? Oh, you created a catchphrase that the whole and it's not. And what is it? 30 seconds of mic work you get there?
Yeah,
and you just killed it. Like bro, it's like people got to understand.
Yeah, they don't, and they have no concept of it. Look, every time you got an opportunity to be on TV, you wanted to do something that they were talking about tomorrow, and it's not Road Dogg got beat. It was, can you believe what Road Dogg said in his promo or whatever?
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's incredible. We all think the fucking same because we come from the same era.
We come from the same, we're cut from the same cloth, man. And I don't know when that stopped, but at some point it became all about the work rate. And there ain't a dime in wrestling work rate. I can tell you that right now.
Not if you're entertaining.
Here's what I tell people, and this is true, and I would tell anybody this: a 5-star match has never drawn a dime.
Yeah,
the dimes were drawn before the match started.
Yeah,
the 5 stars is the review of the match that we've already gotten paid for. It's like we did, so the angle drew the dimes. Yeah, but everybody keep emphasizing work and work. I'm like, dude, you can't sell people on. Okay, this is going to be a great match.
Yeah,
it's like a lot of
If I wanted that, I'd watch collegiate wrestling.
Right?
Well, you can, but that's a more hardcore fan. You're trying to get mass audience to generate mass income, and to do that, it's entertaining characters, not a great match. The other thing, I wanted to ask you this question because I don't think I ever have. I was watching yesterday on that documentary, and I'd never, ever heard Eric Bischoff's reason for not letting you guys in. I actually had heard that he told them to shut it because he didn't want any problems. Yeah. That's what I had heard. And I remember Nash and Hall were back there, and they were going to go out there and just kind of, fucking for life and all that, Yeah. But, bro, there were a lot of wrestlers that wanted to kick your ass.
Yeah.
My question is like, I know that had to go through your mind. What were you guys thinking when you were out there with that?
So look, it went through my mind and was going through my mind the whole time. I don't know if it was going through anybody else's mind.
Well, were you thinking, please let Juventud fight with me and not Haku?
What would you guys would have done if the Steiner brothers, Ming, Norton,
if any one of them would have come out, I would have pissed myself. I did think about it, and I thought, surely they won't come out here and fight us. Like Kevin, they're Hunter's friend, and my brothers.
You guys are still friends, aren't you, Hunter? Yeah, that's how Pac. They're still friends with you, right?
But look, it did. I'm thankful they didn't open that door because I didn't want to get beat up either.
That's tremendous. That's fucking tremendous. Road Doggy, so what are you doing now? Just because I know are you working with Conrad? You got a pod? Tell everybody.
Yeah. So I got a podcast I'm doing under Conrad's umbrella, the ads-free umbrella, and it's called Oh You Didn't Know with Brian Road Dogg James. And it's we talked about Ryan Katz as a co-host earlier. He, like I said, I worked with him at NXT, and so we got a great relationship. That, all my stuff you can find at Road Dogg links.com, Road Dogg with 2 D's and 2 G's, links.com, and find out what I'm doing. But yeah, look, I'm just trying to see where I'm good, what's next. So when I got released, it was a twofold. Like I felt like I got out of prison. One way I felt like, oh God, I can breathe. And then the other way I'm like, oh, now I got to find a job. You know what I mean? Right. And it's almost as being an ex-wrestler is almost as bad as having a felony on your record. Having both is not good either.
Right.
So that's where I'm at, trying to see where I land. Look, I went and spent the weekend up in Chicago with Impact and kind of sat with Scott D'Amore a while and Josh Matthews and some old friends of mine, Tommy Dreamer. Man, what a cast of backstage workers Impact has. Like it's a who's who with D'Lo Brown and Lance Storm.
I helped train Chris Bay too.
Chris Bay, did you really?
Yeah.
He's incredible. My brother and I talked a lot about him.
Yeah, I helped train Cross and Chris Bay are my two.
I'll be
guys
darned. Yeah, well, good. You did good with those two. Did you train James Ellsworth? He told me. Told me you did. He said,
"Have you seen my boys there?"
James Ellsworth.
No. Have you seen my boys there? Road Dogg, Laredo Kid, and Taurus.
Yes. Taurus. Is that his name? Dude, yeah. I love him. He's my favorite person and wrestler. Dude, he was the same one that worked at the Ric Flair's thing, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he saved that kid's life in the Ric Flair. You see that spot where he caught the guy. He literally saved his life. Like he caught the guy and
then took the bump himself.
Right.
He's the most selfless bull I've ever seen.
Great was
that? It was so. Dude, he's so impressive. What a cool guy. Look, Laredo Kid's awesome too. But that guy just is really impressive to me. It was fun to watch him.
Yeah. Well, look. Anything else you got going on?
Man, I'm just seeing where I'm going to land, man, and really in a good place in my life, spiritually, emotionally, just now maturing because I've only been sober like over 11 years. So technically, emotionally, I'm 11 years old. So learning how to love my wife and just in a really good place. I really need a job, but I hope I don't get one soon. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
You're liking the time. You're liking the stress-free.
Man, I'm
having to book for ratings and the
kids. And
Vince is mad. Let me ask: did Vince ever did he ever he ever get mad at like hot at you?
Yeah, one time he came around the desk and moved my headphone like that, and then whispered in my ear, "You just fucked my WrestleMania." And I thought, I'm producing a match while he did that, and I go,
right.
And it's not over yet, so I can't get up and chase him. Let me go, sir. What are you talking about? And he walked away and sat back down, and I just went, oh my God! And I didn't know what it was. All over a misunderstanding. It was that year that Rusev was undefeated all the way to WrestleMania until John Cena beat him. You know what I mean? Right. And so I got him DQ'd in a flag match with Jack Swagger, and he flipped out because now he got beat because he got DQ'd, and I was like, I'm so sorry, sir. I didn't see it that way. And so he got hot. He just stopped talking to me. I walked away and they were like, hey, he did Vince. It was his idea that we did a DQ last week in Canada with the same. And I was like, I'd forgotten that. I was like, oh my God. So I went over there and I this is how scared I am of Vince at the moment. I stand where Hunter can see me, but Vince can't see me behind the monitors. And I go, come here. And I said, dude, he's mad at me because I got Rusev DQ'd, but he did it last week in Canada. So in a minute, I stood there. Hunter walked back over there, whispered in his ear. He looked around the thing at me and he went, that's international. I'm talking about domestic. It was. He'd never admit he was. Vince is the type of guy comes across would never admit he's wrong.
No, like Trump.
Trump.
Dude, there was an hour there where I thought
you were gone.
I'm going home. You know what I mean? And I guess I'll enjoy the time.
Bro. Let me just say this. First off, I love you. You know that.
Amen.
And you're too smart. Too talented not to end up somewhere. You're going to end up somewhere. I have no fucking doubt. Okay.
Thank you.
Number 3, please, everybody. I don't use this moniker very lightly. Go listen to Road Dogg, Sit Under the Listening Tree, and check him out. Help him monetize his fucking podcast. Amen. And can you repeat your podcast one more time?
Yeah, it's called "Oh You Didn't Know" with Brian Road Dogg James. And it's on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast at.
Yeah.
All right, Rody. Nothing but love and respect. Thank you very much for being on Keeping It 100. Boom.
Peace, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Very much, man.
Appreciate you giving us your time, man. Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I want to catch up with you guys sometime, man.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you, Road Dogg.
Yeah. Peace out, guys. Thank you.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.